This may make you a little tense. It made someone a little past tense.
Ladies and ghouls, welcome to Cinema Grotesque. Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Travis McKeithen, along with the Icelandic giant, Mr. Egil Anderson. Hello, sir.
Hello. Hello.
I think I said that right that time. Egil.
Egil.
I can't say that. I thought I was doing good. I thought we finally got this whole mystery of your name done, but yeah, Eagle is here with me today.
It's kind of like Cthulhu Fhthagan. Nobody can really say it.
Yeah,
it's just for print.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you need to know. But yes, today we are here with, dare I say, a pretty decent movie.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I was very surprised. Just so you guys know, we watched Body Bags, which was a series of short horror flicks by John Carpenter, Tobe Hooper, and John Carpenter again, even though there was somebody that was uncredited for the direction of it. Yeah, ultimately, I'm surprised I never saw this. This is actually, I used to love the anthology horror movies, like from Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Dark Side, all these different movies where, of course, Twilight Zone as well, that always just gave you little 20 to 30 minute videos, and they were usually great. They gave you just enough to get ready for the next one, so to speak. And that's no difference with this one. So let's see here. The three shorts that we have here in Body Bags are going to be called The Gas Station, Hair, and The Eye. So, Egil, you picked this one. Give us a little bit of information on Body Bags.
So this was made in 1992, and it was made as a pilot for a show for Showtime, which ultimately passed on it. I can't for the life of me imagine why. Probably because just John Carpenter was demanding too much money, because this was 93 and he had just, like, his last movie was They Live, and I don't know, and yeah, he was making Memoirs of an Invisible Man at the same time. But yeah, he was not perhaps on the height of his game, but he was still doing like pretty solid movies. So I'm guessing just his penance for perfection and good looking effects were probably what sort of shot that ultimately in the end.
You know what I find funny about that, though, is obviously, yeah, they went to Showtime. I mean, that's the first thing that pops up in the movie is Showtime Presents. However, in 2005, they gave Mick Garris Masters of Horror. As far as like, which then the same fucking thing for the most part.
Yeah, which then Carpenter went on to direct 2 episodes out.
Exactly, and they were both great. I remember Cigarette Burns, and I really enjoyed that one.
I haven't still checked it out. I just, haven't gotten around to it. One of those things.
Yeah, I hear you. It's definitely worth it if you.
But yeah, before diving into this movie, let's talk a bit about John Carpenter, the man of the hour.
Oh yeah.
What's your favorite Carpenter flick?
That's kind of hard. I would going off my first impression, I'd probably say They Live. Because it's just such a beautiful fucking movie. It's really fun.
It's really, yeah, I really love that one too.
But honestly, it would be in between that and The Thing, kind of released back to back, 82 and 83, or excuse me, 82.
82. No, They Live was 88.
88? Yes, it was. Never mind. They were relatively close together. Both of those movies were my childhood. I mean, I loved horror and weird, campy kind of comedy horror. And both of those kind of did it for me, even though the thing was a bit more serious. So yeah, I mean, I love so much of his stuff. Oddly enough, never really fell in love with with any of the Halloween movies.
Well, he only did the first one to be fair. To be fair, he only did the first one, and then when Halloween 20 years later, H2O came about, Jamie Lee Curtis reached out and wanted him to direct.
All right.
And he said, yes, $10 million to direct.
I don't know, possibly.
Because you have made 7 of these films, and this is my movie, and I only did the first one. You fucking owe me.
Exactly. Come to think about it, he actually did a movie I didn't realize he directed. I knew that he did Escape from New York, but I didn't realize he also did Escape from L.A.
Yeah, that was
to a cinema grotesque of Escape from L.A. sometime in the future, because I do have a very soft place in my heart for that. It's just so fucking stupid. It's really fun.
The scenes with Bruce Campbell are worthy of note. Less so is the 3-minute basketball scene.
As I say, once again, I'll keep that one in my back pocket. We might possibly be visiting that one sometime in the future.
Oh, damn it. Well, I'd have to say, yeah, it's a toss-up between The Thing and In the Mouth of Madness, because
another good one.
Yeah, I'm also like big on Lovecraftian horror, and it's sort of a great mash for me. They Live, obviously a great movie, but I sort of admire it more from an ideological standpoint than a filmmaking standpoint.
It's a bit of both for me. You can throw out the message, so to speak, of They Live and still have a super fucking enjoyable time. I think the first time that I watched They Live, I didn't read into, okay, well, this is about advertising, this is about capitalism, et cetera, et cetera. I read it
it's
more
about
as
authenticity.
Exactly. I read it more as Rowdy Piper going around beating the shit out of people, and that's all I wanted in the movie. Then,
we didn't get what's it called
at the time? WWF, World Wrestling.
Yeah, we didn't get WWF here in Iceland. I saw some WCW in my day, but so I had no connection to Roddy Piper, sadly.
But yeah, so needless to say, yeah, I mean, John Carpenter is known as one of the most amazing directors in horror and sci-fi. I mean, this guy
and one of the most amazing composers.
Well, that's true. I didn't realize till recently. Yeah, some of the stuff that he's done, it's fucking brilliant.
He's a very big influence on me, especially in music. Actually, funny story. You know the Thing theme?
Oh, yeah.
That was credited to Ennio Morricone, who's obviously most famous for doing the Spaghetti Western trilogy, or the Dollars trilogy, rather.
Okay, awesome.
So apparently they just hated each other, and Morricone kind of walked off the project, leaving Carpenter to do it all by himself, but only not getting most of the credit.
Wow, yeah, I had no idea about that. That's pretty interesting.
But yeah, if you listen to that song, it's like, yeah, this is way more Carpenter than Morricone, and I'm a big fan of both, to be honest.
Very cool. Yeah, so that's one thing that with a good horror movie, I mean, a lot of people discount it, but to have the appropriate soundtrack really does so much. It sets the atmosphere and the tone and really just gets you in the fucking mood for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, especially like after the 90s, like with the advent of Scream, the sort of silent approach to, the scoreless approach to horror made it feel more real and stuff. And that's kind of been where it's been going ever since. And, you know, with Saw, you have some industrial noises in the background, but not really music.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably prefer the latter bit or the earlier bits, just because it really although you know it's coming, it's still the strings slowly screeching and everything like that, and the person walking up to something, and just before something pops out, you get the big crescendo or something like that. Absolutely fucking fantastic, and I'll always dig that.
So, moving on to the feature, speaking of John Carpenter, like any good anthology movie, this also has a host for the segments.
A poor man's crypt keeper, so to speak.
or as evidenced by his paycheck, a very rich man's crypt keeper.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I'd have to imagine he got the
our host is called the coroner. The whole wraparound segments takes place in a morgue.
Yep.
And just features the coroner, played by John Carpenter himself.
Oh yeah, John Carpenter specifically, who has been made up a bit, who's got a bit of prosthetics on his face. If you don't want to watch the movie, just Google pictures of John Carpenter now, and that's exactly what he looks like back then. Just very wrinkled and frail looking, and just kind of a bit strange is the easiest way to put it.
Oh man, but his performance in this is amazing. I'm shocked that he has I think like 2 other acting credits that are actually credited to his name. He's like cameoed and done voiceover, but this is the only movie he's actually in front of the camera and talking for more than a few minutes.
Exactly, and I mean he brings a lot to it as far as that goes. I mean they could have easily just had something like the Crypt Keeper, just a puppet out there, or some type of really bad for the time CGI, or like in Tales from the Dark Side. But no, they went for it, and it was really good. I thought he had a really good time playing that role. So yeah, it really worked out on my side.
Yeah. So the movie opens on John Carpenter. He's sitting at a table, and he's cutting a steak with an electric bone saw.
Yeah, for some reason. I mean, I guess
well, he's a coroner.
Well, yeah, pretty much, yeah. It just shows like a lump of meat, and then you see the bone saw coming in and the horrible whirling sound. And then, yeah, pretty much that's the intro to John Carpenter. He picks up the meat and then pops it into his mouth. And
then proceeds to drink formaldehyde out of a martini glass.
Because why not?
Because I'm John Carpenter, bitches.
That's his normal daiquiri at night, I believe.
I made fucking Halloween. I birthed this shit.
Exactly. Definitely one of the masters of horror for the most part. But yeah, he gives us the standard Crypt Keeper spiel as far as that goes, going through the different bodies and natural causes. Fucking more natural causes. He's very upset that people are dying of natural causes until he gets to the first body bag, in which he starts the story up of the gas station.
Yeah, this leads into who John Carpenter directed himself and for the most part scored. Yep. There are 2 music credits. If you hear a guitar, that's not John Carpenter. If you hear a synthesizer, that's John Carpenter.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the majority.
It's very easy to distinguish who is who.
Exactly. So yeah, pretty much coming in, we get an introduction to our main character, who is played by. I should have had this ready. Alex Datcher, is it?
Yeah, she hasn't done really anything.
Not at all. A very attractive African-American lady. She gets brought in by her friend. This is her first night at a job at the gas station. She's working the graveyard shift.
Yeah, at a highway gas station. So basically sitting in a booth for 8 hours. Yeah. A horrible experience for anyone.
Pretty accurate, yeah.
On a normal night. But this is not a normal night. So basically this is like Halloween in a microcosm.
I agree. It set up tension really well. Like when this was obviously the first short of the movie. Like I started watching this, I was like, I was about to instant message you would say, this is too good for us to do on Cinema Grotesque, because it genuinely sets up a very good sense of tension. As I said, in between the music and even the acting, I thought was pretty decent. I mean, for this little cheap setup,
well,
everybody's
yeah.
pretty good.
But there are still things to talk about.
Of course
For instance, love that Wes Craven comes up and starts. He comes and buys a pack of smokes, and then starts sexually harassing the lady.
Yeah, he puts on his, essentially, they dress him up like a pedophile, because there's no other way to put it. It literally looks like he just got through touching just a choir of young boys when he comes up and asks for a pack of smokes. And then, yeah, it's just, it's creepy, it's gross. It's exactly what it should be. It was great. He did a wonderful job. So,
yeah, well, yeah, okay, so when... it's yeah, exactly. Like I said, it's a pretty cliche summer camp creepy story.
Yeah,
it's
but
like she worked at a gas station, but then she locked herself out, and then there was a psycho killer.
Yeah, I would say even back in 1993, it was definitely still cliche. It's been done 100 times, but when it's done well, I appreciate it.
And that's exactly like, this is a microcosm. Like, this is like a masterclass in why John Carpenter is one of the best horror directors, like in that has ever worked the business.
Agreed.
It's a like stupid, like it's a story you've heard a million times, and nothing really that unique about it, the story, but it's the framing of the story and the shots and just all of those little things that just create this whole large great picture.
Well, exactly. As I said, I mean, it was really good at world creating. It gave you enough of a backstory on the main actress to give a shit, really, that she was. I mean, obviously this is maybe a 30-minute short at best, but she comes in there. She's nice. She has a sense of humor. You kind of feel for this girl whenever things ultimately are going to go wrong.
Yeah. So basically, she comes in, and the dudes who there's a dude there who she's like taking over from.
Yeah, I guess so I think they kind of said that he was in some type of managerial role almost, or definitely at least the employee of the month.
Yeah. And he shows her around, like, here are the keys. The booth locks each time it closes, so don't leave without your keys.
Yep.
Which she, of course, does.
Well, that was bound to happen.
This movie has so many instances of Chekhov's gun that...
Yeah, I mean...
everything that's pointed out is like, oh yeah, that's going to be a callback. Except for one thing. And So a bum comes in, asks for the keys to the bathroom, which he then gets, and he's in the bathroom for quite a while.
Yep.
After which, another customer comes in, also asks for the keys to the bathroom. He says, well, somebody's in there. The key's probably in, blah, blah, blah. So he comes back and he's like, the bum is, he's asleep on the toilet, blah, blah.
Yep.
So she goes and checks it out, and there's a piece of graffiti on one of the stall walls. And she has the most vitriolic reaction to graffiti I've ever seen.
Well, I gotta say a little something. I mean, obviously at this point in time, they built up a lot of tension. Nothing has really happened. She was very scared of the homeless man whenever he came in there, just because he was homeless, I guess. Because back then, back in early 90s, America was scared of the homeless. But
well, to be honest, it's where most mentally unstable people end up.
Well, that's
Thanks,
true.
American healthcare system.
Yeah, exactly. Yay.
Politics!
USA. But no, so yeah, for the most part, Yeah, I mean, everything was nice and slow moving. As you said, the music was fucking great. Just very tension based and everything like that. So naturally, whenever she goes into the bathroom looking for this homeless person to kind of shoo him off, because he's a bum, you expect something to happen. You expect something to jump out at her and everything like that. So that the fact that that doesn't happen, that's breaking one of the cliche rules for horror. But yeah, it was a little bit over the top. She saw some scribblings, kind of like satanic drawings on one of the bathroom
I just want to know what the story about that, because they linger on it for so long and it never gets called back. Like, he put that in for some kind of reason. I have to believe.
Well, spoiler alert, the guy who trained her or brought her in, he's the fucking killer. So
yeah, he's not actually Bill. Bill is actually played by Sam Raimi.
Exactly.
Which I love, yeah. Who does have a cameo in this in this segment as a picture of the employee of the month,
yeah,
and as a corpse.
Exactly, because that's all you really need from Sam Raimi.
So like, hey Sam, I know you're busy making Army of Darkness or whatever, but could you come over for a day and be a corpse?
He could have done that instead of doing the Spider-Man movies, and everybody'd be happy. Ooh, controversy. But no, yeah. So ultimately, it looked like, I have to imagine the scribblings or the graffiti on there. It looked like some of John Carpenter's work as well. So that was kind of interesting. I've seen a little bit of a few of his art books of some of his just weird out there shit. And it could have been, I don't know. I haven't checked. Or
I would, yeah. It was probably something Carpenter drew on the wall just between takes, and then just stuck it in there.
Exactly. But yeah, needless to say, after she sees that, she freaks the fuck out. So she goes, or actually, no, she goes back to the booth, where she really should just be there working now instead of exploring. But she sees that in the main building, the service building of the gas station, the door has gone up. So naturally, whenever you're scared shitless already and you see something moving on its own, what do? Let's go see what it is.
No. To be fair, like the dude who called himself Bill,
yeah,
was actually Sam Raimi's name.
Yeah.
He gives her his number and says, like, if anything goes, just call me. It's okay. So she calls him and sees him pick up in the service station.
Okay, yeah, that is true.
And he's like, oh, yeah, no problem. I'm coming right over. And she then pieces it together, I guess.
Yeah, she kind of figures out that, yeah, in fact, the guy with a huge, massive fucking, like, Jason-esque machete that's already covered in blood because, spoiler alert again, the homeless guy's dead.
Yeah.
And he's got blood all over him.
One bit of trivia though, so Sam Raimi has a thing.
Yeah, that he puts Bruce Campbell in everything.
He puts Bruce Campbell in everything, and he puts I think 72 Oldsmobile in everything. A beige Oldsmobile.
Okay, I didn't think about that, but yeah, I can see that now.
Yeah, it's the car Uncle Ben drove. It's the car they drove to the cabin in Evil Dead.
Yeah.
It's the car he has in Army of Darkness then. And there's a rumor that, like, on the set of The Quick and the Dead, which was a cowboy movie he did, that in a barn on the set, they had the Oldsmobile under a tarp.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, but when he's done showing her around, he then leaves in that Oldsmobile, which you would expect is then Sam Raimi's car because he killed Sam Raimi and took his identity.
More than likely, yeah.
So I just like that, subtle nod to Raimi.
Exactly, but yeah, pretty much from here, everything else is just, you've seen it before. It's the slow, lurking guy. The female protagonist hits him with something, he falls down. Oh, is he dead? I don't know, but I'm not going to pay attention to him anymore. And then he starts moving again, and so on and so forth. And we didn't even mention the the guy who decided to come there to get gas, but also hit on her early in the movie.
Yeah, that was he was called Pete.
Yep.
Is played by David Naughton, who was most famous to being the central character in American Werewolf in London.
Okay, I knew I saw him somewhere before, but yeah, very cool.
Like I said, this movie is a literal who's of horror. It's amazing to pick all these people out.
I'm kind of surprised that John Landis didn't have anything to do with this, because I think he hangs out with these guys for the most part, all of them, the actors and directors.
Well, yeah, Clive Barker was like asked to do a cameo, but he was busy doing something.
Okay,
and he lamented that.
I can imagine,
because it's just so fun to pick out all these people, and there are more to come.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. So it's just ultimately fun. But yeah, as I said, to wrap this one up, for the most part, it was just.
Before we wrap this one up, I want to ask you something. Do you know who Cool Cat is?
Cool Cat. Definitely sounds familiar. I can't place it right off the top of my head.
So Cool Cat is this character created by Derek Savage. Mm-hmm. And is this hilariously over-the-top anti-bullying sort of mascot for kids.
Okay, take a look.
And he and this is like all Derek Savage. I thought for like most of the time that Robert Carradine, who was playing the psycho killer, was Derek Savage from Cool Cat. They really look alike.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's amazing. But Robert Carradine actually plays. Is like most known for by sort of this generation for playing the dad on Lizzie McGuire, the Hilary Duff TV show.
Interesting. Yeah, I never
on
watched
Disney. So yeah, I'm just thinking. Okay, so this is just what Sam McGuire does when Lizzie's gone to sleep.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he was also in Django Unchained, oddly enough. Interesting. But cool, yeah. So needless to say, yeah, I mean, and he was great. He was the atypical, overhyped, overacting serial killer. Yeah, I mean, it was really a blast. I mean, it was really good. I thought the tension was great. I genuinely would recommend this short alone to anybody who likes a horror or likes horror, because it's fun, and it is like a trip down memory lane. They do have all the subplots in there. They have all the everything you're used to seeing, but done well.
Yeah, it's basically like a crash course in great horror.
Yeah, exactly. So, of course, to tie everything back together, we return back to the morgue and see Mr. Aged John Carpenter there, and he's looking for a new body.
Oh yeah, so he takes a look in what he calls his necrophilia cabin.
Yep.
Which are the drawers. It's full of just these terrible puns.
Exactly.
And he has a great time delivering them.
Oh, yeah.
So he starts pulling out bodies from the drawers they have in morgues. Mm-hmm. He has a particular difficulty with one because in that drawer is a woman who has had plastic surgery.
Okay, quick question. There's no way those were real. Those were, even real plastic surgery. Those had to be prosthetics.
According to the IMDb trivia, this was somehow John Carpenter somehow got this from Ron Jeremy.
Wow, I did not read that. I should have.
Yeah, the Buxom Woman in the Morgue was provided by Ron Jeremy. I don't know what that means. I do want to know.
You know what? I think I'm going to have to tweet Ron Jeremy after this, and because he has an amazing memory. I know that for sure after seeing interviews. I'll have to.
And he would probably remember doing shit for John Carpenter, given how gung-ho he is about Hollywood.
Exactly. So yeah, maybe we'll have a little bit of an answer for you guys come next week. But yeah, I'll get on that.
Which I just think, how do you procure a naked lady?
Ron Jeremy.
I need I need a naked lady with some big honking fake tits. Who do I call? And just Ron Jeremy just pokes his head through the door.
I hear you need a naked woman. I happen to procure some of the best naked, large-breasted women in all of Los Angeles.
So, yeah, we move on to the next short, which is called Hair.
Which I will say is the most cinema grotesque short that we get here.
It is my favorite of the bunch.
It is it's the standard folly of man thing. Somebody desires something so much, and when they finally get it, it ultimately kills them.
Or fucks them over majorly.
Exactly. So yeah, pretty much opening up on the master of character actors themselves, Stacy Keach. He is just fucking wonderful in everything he's in.
I first noticed him in Titus, the Christopher Titus show. I don't know what it was on, but he played an alcoholic, emotionally abusive father, and he was so fucking great in that show. That show is worth just to see Stacy Keach.
I might have to take a look because, yeah, I mean, I said he's just that enjoyable. I mean, he's really good in everything that I've seen him in. So, yeah, I'll definitely check out Young Titus.
Like, of course, you get Stacy Keach. What do you make him play? You make him play an aging playboy.
Yeah.
Who's just going on, who's just in a steady relationship with a woman like 30 years younger than him.
At least, yeah.
And he doesn't, like, nobody bats an eye.
Nope. It's just like, this is how we're gonna roll. And
I'm like,
exactly.
What? Like, nobody's even addressing this? Nope, I'm Stacy Keach.
Yeah, that's just how I roll. That's what I do in real life.
I drill more pussy than Black and Decker.
Oh my goodness, yeah, he's actually 80 and almost 85 years old now. So yeah, back then, God, yeah, he was even older.
60.
Yeah, old as shit back then as well. So. Yeah, and yeah, she's no more than maybe 24, and I'm being kind there.
Yeah, she's like just over 20, and he's pushing pushing 70.
Yeah.
So, but still an amazing performance by Keach.
Oh, exactly. I mean, he owns it. I mean, if nothing else, he came to work that day and he's like, you know what? I'm going to knock this fucking thing out of the park. Is the premise silly? Yes. Is the idea kind of stupid? Yes. But I'm going to fucking do my best job on it. And he did it. Yeah, it's pretty much, we'll just go ahead and break it. It's a guy who's losing his hair at an older age, and he's very self-conscious about it. He thinks that people are staring at him, that people think less of him because he is going balding. So needless to say, he's looking for a way to get hair back. So he goes through pretty much every
it's even fucking up his relationship with this amazing hot 20-year-old.
Yeah,
so by the way, who also played, she was the Bond girl in, Sheena Easton is her name. She was the Bond girl in For Your Eyes Only. So she was like over 30 at least at that time.
Okay, yeah.
And, yeah. So, and again, making out with a very old man with Roger Moore in that movie.
Well, you know, I mean, you got to make money. Sometimes
Hollywood is fucking shit to women.
Yeah, it is. But, you know, every now and then you get the movies to where it's the 18-year-old guy with a late 40s woman. But that's, yeah, a lot more rare.
Yeah, I mean, Sandra Bullock has to get work somehow. Am I right?
Oh, people still watch her for some reason.
So, yeah, it's putting, like, this huge strain on their relationship. So, like, hey, I just go to see my hairdresser. He can just give it shape and some bullshit. And we cut to Stacy Keach at the hairdresser's with the most amazing hairdresser ever put on film. Like, I would slap my own grandmother to have Dennis as my hairdresser.
The funny thing is, you would expect in this scenario, this is, as I said, early 90s, a male hairdresser, you would think they make him flamboyant as shit. No, this dude is a fucking man and a half here.
He's buff as shit, wearing a leather vest.
Yeah, I mean, this is whatchamacallit. This is not there. I was so surprised that they didn't go for the low hanging fruit of, okay, he's a flamboyant homosexual. That's why he does hair. No, he is a badass motherfucker. I want to see his story next.
Yeah, I would fucking, and like this guy hasn't gone on. Like I went and looked at his IMDb. He hasn't really done anything.
He doesn't need to.
I'm guessing he's a male model.
He's just drowning in pussy. That's what he does for work. He just pussy just falls on him every day from everywhere. Even now, fucking 20 years later.
That was a bit pot, but just knocked out of the park again.
Yeah. It was great. I mean, his interaction with Stacy Keach, yeah, that was well worth watching the short by itself.
Oh yeah, and Stacy Keach is he is a master of just a quick scornful glance. He can just glance at someone and it says so fucking much.
Oh yeah, he's got the perfect fuck you face. Like if he stares at you for more than 1 second, doesn't say anything, he's saying fuck you, like with exclamation points all the way off the page. It's just his facial expressions are amazing. I don't even think he was acting in this. I think he thought he might have actually been afflicted by this thing, so he was just there, and that's how he acts normally. It was beautiful though. So yeah.
He cuts his hair, does a bit of a trickery to give it a little bit more, the appearance of volume.
Exactly,
but
spray paint.
that didn't satisfy Stacy Keach, so he went and bought just fucking everything, one of those sham fucking products they sell to balding dudes.
Exactly. As seen on TV, pretty much everything. Just anything you could possibly imagine.
Yeah, along with it is, and so he starts putting a bunch of gunk in his hair, and eventually just has his, the top of his head is just painted. Yeah. It's just painted with brown.
Exactly, and that's where his granddaughter, his love interest in this movie comes in, and she laughs at him because he's trying so hard, and then she kisses the top of his head, and looks like she just literally ate shit because all the dye came off on her face. But they get in a fight, because ultimately, Stacy Keach
one thing, yeah. I forgot one thing. One of the products he has is like chopped up lamb fetus. It says essence of lamb fetus or something.
I didn't even see that. That's awesome. Yeah. This could have easily been swapped out with my dick doesn't work anymore. Any coming of age, this isn't the same as it used to be. But in this situation, it was hair.
Yeah.
So yeah, he gets pissed off. Him and the young woman get in an argument. So finally, it teases us a little bit earlier on in the short, but then it shows this infomercial again of, what is that guy's name?
David Warner.
David Warner, yes, who has been
another great character actor. He's probably his biggest. You might most easily recognize him as the boss from Tron.
Oh, see, I was thinking The Omen, where he played the priest.
Oh, right, The Omen also.
Yeah, once again, another amazing actor. Really, really good. He's got a great pedigree of movies behind him. But yeah, he's doing this infomercial to where it just says straight up, we no fancy products, etc., etc. Just come here and we'll help your hair grow again. So finally, Stacy Keach is like, you know what? I've tried everything else. It's time to try this guy.
Yeah. So yeah, he calls him, makes an appointment. He meets Dr. Locke. I love that.
Yeah.
His name is Dr. Locke and he does hair.
Of course.
So yeah, David Warner and Stacy Keach have a meeting. Stacy Keach and oh yes, Oh, how could I forget? The nurse. Oh, another just amazing performance.
She was absolutely astonishing in this role. Deborah Harry, actually, who's done...
Deborah Harry, yeah.
Yeah, she's been in everything from Scarface, Trainspotting, Super 8. She's actually done quite a bit herself. So, yeah, I'm guessing these were all friends of John Carpenter for the most part. It's like, come on, be in my movie. It's silly. It's about a guy who can't grow hair anymore.
She made it in the 60s as a Playboy bunny, and those skills are very much on display in this movie.
Oh yeah, it's pretty much what you imagine, like a sexy nurse costume at Halloween. That's what she was wearing for the most part.
But still, like, a bit off because she's in her 40s, but still just verbally fucking Stacy Keach.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because the whole thing is she's kind of the hype man of the scenario. Because he goes in there and he obviously tells the doctor, Dr. Locke, that he's so depressed and his life has gone to shit because he doesn't have hair. He needs hair. And she's just kind of rubbing on him the whole time, just randomly for no apparent reason, rubbing on him and agreeing with him. And, oh, yes, you would be so much better with hair.
So this leads into one of the most amazing, like, we couldn't afford techno shit. So Stacy Keach is handed, David Warner is handed a before photograph of Stacy Keach.
Yep.
Which he then takes and like goes to like some sort of a console which has a camera on it, which is never used. Yep. It's just an old like film camera and a video monitor. And on top of it is a VCR, just an actual VCR. And David Warner puts the Polaroid into the VCR and just doesn't bat an eye.
Yep. And then then the picture pops up on the screen like it should in the
like computers and shit.
Yeah, that's how it works. So yeah, he goes through. I was expecting more of a comedy moment in this as well. There was a little bit, but it shows the original photo of Stacy Keach, and then he was like, "Well, how about this hair?" and clicks a button, and then it shows him in a with a little bit fuller hair. It kind of looks like he has a dead animal on his head for the first one, though. It's kind of weird and curly, maybe a little bit Hispanic to a certain extent. But no, he doesn't like that one, and the nurse agrees as she's rubbing all over him. No, that one's not for you. Let's try the next one.
So next one is what they call the conservative Republican.
And that's pretty much what it looked like, yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's on the nose.
Yeah, every Republican, they get their hair done like that. They watch this movie, say, oh yeah, I hate the gays and I love Jesus. I need to have that hair.
Well, except Mitt Romney, who's just stole his look from Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
So eventually they like cycle through a bunch. And among one of those is basically Giles' hair.
Yeah, just straight up long blonde and just very strange looking.
it looked kind of, and basically looked like Street Fighter's Giles' hair, which is amazing.
Which personally I think would have been a great.
Yeah, I would love to see Stacy Keach just walking with Giles' hair and like, go home, be a family man.
But then they finally get to the last one, which they call the Stallion.
Which is just basically Fabio.
Yeah, just long, straight hair. And of course he loves it. The nurse really fucking loves it.
She's inches away from jerking him off.
All about hair. So yeah,
this hair. Just,
it's so fucking good. Oh,
she's amazing.
I'll eat your asshole if you get this hair. As I said, she's the best hype man ever. Because if you go in somewhere and you got somebody pretty much just straight up jerking you off.
And she's just opposite David Warner, who is this very respectable English man.
And very dry. And
just very humdrum. Like, we can give you whatever you want. It's like, yeah, get that hair.
Get that shit.
Oh,
get
their
that
interactions. Their interactions were amazing.
Yeah, they were great. So yeah, he chooses the Stallion because he wants long, luxurious hair because he's so used to having the opposite for the most part. So pretty much they tell him, okay, we're going to rub this shit on your head. We're going to wrap you up. And by the morning, you're going to have this hair, this exact hair we just showed you. So he goes home, he wraps up his head's wrapped up, he stares in the mirror one last time, thinking about what used to be, and goes to sleep. But then...
So, yeah, wakes up, he has Fabio hair.
Yep.
And just everything is better. He, like, his 20-year-old girlfriend comes over, and his, like, 65-year-old ass just... his dick is even better because of the hair.
Yeah, he's just plowing his girlfriend at the time, and think about plowing everybody else in the world. And he kept talking about how all he get all the ladies in the world with his hair, which he might. Just to be fair, Stacy Keach.
Well, he might. He's Stacy Keach. He's 65, but that fucking doesn't matter because.
Yeah, he's I used to think Sean Connery was a badass, but I've changed my mind. Stacy Keach would just fucking ruin him.
Like, I would love to see a little sidebar. I would love to see a buddy cop movie with Stacy Keach and Rip Torn.
Oh fuck!
Both just fucking sour-faced, angry macho machines, just outdoing each other all of the way.
As long as it has a fight scene like from They Live, I'm fucking signing on right now. Just a 15-minute fight scene of them punching each other and throwing each other into walls.
These 80-year-old men.
Oh, we need to kickstart that. Is he still alive? I didn't check.
Stacy Keach is still alive. I haven't heard from Rip Torn.
Okay, yeah, it's debatable, I'm sure.
So yeah, and yep, he's great. He fucks. Morning after, his hair has grown 6 inches, so he goes back to Dennis. Thank God.
Exactly. We needed more Dennis in our life, and we got it. If you ask for things in life, God delivers, and we got some more fucking Dennis. And he was even more blown away that, oh my God, this is your hair. This isn't even a wig or a weave.
Like, and he is like, so like, fuck yeah, bro.
Yeah. Let's go pound some beers and fuck some hookers.
This time, he's wearing like a thick beige, like, blazer and suit pants.
Oh yeah, still super badass.
Oh, his like everything about fucking Dennis in this movie, in this segment, is amazing. Oh
yeah, he should have had his own show. Dennis the Hairdresser coming on Fox this summer.
It wouldn't have to be about anything. Just Dennis like being a fucking badass.
Yeah, just broing out, playing some Call of Duty, hanging out, scoring with chicks.
Gotta go cut some hair, bro.
But yeah, so
yeah, but I have to say, like the wig they put on Stacy Keach was really good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, they had it like coned back to where you could actually see like what appeared to be the hairline. It looked like they did some type of. It had to have been some type of, like they said, weave to where they actually blended it in there.
No, I think it was probably like a wig, but with latex like going from under the sort of scalp.
That's true. Yeah, they had access to some of the best practical effects guys. So yeah, I'm sure they could have
exactly. So I think that like probably played a lot in why this wasn't picked up by Showtime, because at the time, like something like big budget like this wouldn't like hang around TV for that long.
Yeah, I don't think there was a whole lot of, at this point in time in the early 90s, HBO, Showtime, Cinemax, they didn't really go for a lot of original programming. They were pretty much totally banking on, we get movies first. So you'll pay us our $10 a month or whatever like that, so you could see the movie shortly after they get out of the theaters.
Yeah, and then, reruns of, syndicated Star Trek or whatever.
Yeah, we never got Star Trek on any of the pay channels over here, but yeah. So yeah,
one of those shows that are in syndication and have always been.
Yeah, but as you can guess by now, his hair goes wrong. Of course it does, because this is a.
If it's too good to be true, it usually is.
Exactly. So, needless to say.
So what could be wrong with having a set of amazing hair?
Well,
full luxurious hair.
That would be when the hair comes to life.
when the hair turns out to be alien snakes.
Yeah, just little worms burrowing in and out of Stacy Keach's skin, which that is kind of a really gross out trigger for me because
because like this was like the most sort of lighthearted of the three segments, but those segments where they just show the worms wriggling under the skin, that was probably one of not the most uncomfortable. We're gonna get to that, but
close. Very close.
The claymation effects and early CGI didn't really look great.
Oh yeah, well yeah. I mean, some of the stop motion wasn't bad, like where it showed his neck. I think at that point in time,
where it showed it under the skin, that looked great. But when it actually was like on like the floor and stuff, it looked way too thick to be hair.
It did. I'll give these guys the benefit of the doubt. This movie, they didn't have that much for the production budget, especially not a CGI budget. And plus, it was 1993, so what the fuck are they going to do, really?
Yeah, I mean, The only problem was that it didn't look like hair. It was looking like, something else. And like in with all these hair were these thick strands of just for like not when it wasn't an effect, it was just like fishing line or something.
Oh yeah, exactly. And as I said, I don't have too much of an issue with that.
I don't know. It's a nitpick, but.
Exactly. I mean, we both had a really good time with it as far as that goes.
Oh, yeah. He basically then, like, he gets sick and spends, like, the whole day sick. And the morning after, he's basically the wolf man.
Yeah, he's got a hair coming out of his face and out of his sides and more hair on top of his head. And I don't think they put any prosthetics on his arms, but I could have missed that.
Yeah, and he then like bursts into Dr. Locke's office and like, what have you done to me? Because, of course. And so it turns out that they are a race of alien snake-like things who can only feed on human brain.
Yeah. It was at that point in time in the script writing process, I was pretty sure, like, who cares? Just get this over with.
We're at the end. Just fucking alien snakes.
Yeah, aliens. They did it. They're going to take over the world. There you go. Have a fun time. Give me my check.
I really liked it because it sort of like because of the it started out silly. It had the really uncomfortable, like snake under the skin type of things.
Yeah.
But then it just, sort of flipped back to being this lighthearted, stupid alien thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as I said, once again, this started out, very, very silly, very ridiculous, but ultimately, it got even sillier. I for this reason, I was worried whenever watching The Gas Station because it was just really enjoyable to watch. It was kind of almost like film school.
Very minimalistic.
Exactly. This one I had a really good time with. This one was why I have no issues with it being on the show at all, because it was just campy enough to really be enjoyable. And so needless to say, that's where this one ends. Aliens, worms, hair. You're welcome.
And so the one comment that David Warner made that made me laugh, which was like, "Oh yes, and we are feasting on your brain right now." And he's like, he cries worms and then puts them on Stacy Keach. We especially love fat. Which I'm like, you just said you could only eat brains, and brains is like 90% fat. Yeah. All brains. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that stop motion area where they got the big ass finger, like a super close up on the finger, right beside Stacy Keach's face, and then you see the bad CGI worm snake things hop off onto him. Yeah, that was absolutely amazing as well.
Oh yeah, and then like he's like, while they are revealing this to him, he basically goes comatose.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the end. You're welcome.
Which I was kind of like sad to see that we didn't see him get tossed out of a high rise and then dragged behind a train for 9 miles, like the opening segment led us to believe.
Well, yeah. But still, I'm fine with it. There's very few places that could have gone there with the budget they had. So it's like, fuck it. It's over. Enjoy.
He's just a living corpse now.
Exactly. And humanity's doomed. I guess we can go ahead and figure that out from there. So we return back to the morgue with good old John Carpenter, and he's once again
so great in this.
I'm going to go ahead and spoil it for the rest. I'm going to be watching this movie again, probably in the near future. I really enjoyed every single one of these almost equally. They were all quite enjoyable, and this also has got me in the mood to watching the other horror anthology movies as well as Masters of Horror here shortly.
Yeah, I'm really gonna check out. I'm really gotta check out Cigarette Burns now.
Yeah, it's really
heard good things.
Both
sorry, another sidebar, but goddamn, is it sad that like the direction his career took after. Sort of after Wilderness of the Damned, you got Escape from L.A., Vampires. I haven't seen that one actually.
The first Vampires is not bad.
With the James Woods.
Exactly, it's a little bit Blade, kind of. Far as a little bit too much in the CGI department, but in all honesty, it's not bad. I would say it's definitely worth a watch.
And then Ghosts of Mars.
Okay. I never watched Ghosts of Mars. Yeah, I just never had. No, I didn't watch that.
And like even as the director, his only real hits were Assault on Precinct 13, Halloween, and Escape from New York.
Big Trouble in Little China. Well, it's cult more so than anything. So.
Yeah. Like as a box office draw.
Yeah.
Successful director. Like The Thing released 2 weeks after E.T.
Yeah, he got fucked.
So that fucked him. And it's one of the greatest horror movies ever made.
Yeah, it really is. Horror/comedy. Yeah.
Yeah, and In the Mouth of Madness totally flopped. Prince of Darkness flopped.
Yep.
They Live did shit at theaters. All these great movies, just nobody went to see them in theaters.
Yeah, but I mean he's seen as one of the best horror directors now, and essentially cult status gets you so far. But sure he would like to be paid for his cult status. No, as I said, I absolutely adore him. I hope we get to see some more stuff out of him, honestly. He's a very talented guy. Maybe it's good that he went out when he did, because look what happened to Romero. Romero's still trying to make movies, and he's just...
look what happened to him, Ghosts of Mars.
Well, that's true. They could have been holding his family hostage for that. Nazis could have come down and stolen.
While we're on the subject of John Carpenter, though, I do want to mention that people should really fucking go and check out. It's called Lost Themes. He recently, I think 2000. It was in March, where he basically gave out an album of just scores that just weren't used in anything. He just went and made a bunch of synth, creepy horror music and just released it. Mm-hmm. So it's called Lost Themes and is available on Sacred Bones Record. You really should check it out. It's amazing if you have any sort of reverence for the 80s horror, especially the soundtracks.
I'll definitely check that out, as well as I just took a look. It's also on Spotify. So if you have a Spotify service, it's on there. Or if you're a dirty person, there might be some of it on YouTube. So,
and there are clips of it legally on SoundCloud, I want to point out.
Okay, wonderful. I'm going to check that out as soon as I get out of here. I love 80s synth, and 80s horror synth is amazing.
So we move into our last story, and this one kind of threw me for a loop.
Me too, but maybe for totally different reasons.
So, like, this one is the only one that wasn't directed by Carpenter. This was directed by Tobe Hooper. Toby Hooper.
Yeah.
Who is perhaps most famous for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, the original one. Yeah, I mean, he is also seen as like a master of horror as well, even though I wouldn't say his filmography is as deep necessarily, but obviously he's got, I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre behind him, which is an amazing movie. Also Poltergeist and the original Poltergeist. I hate to have to say that now. The original Poltergeist. I hate the fact that
was there a remake?
Yeah, it just came out in theaters last month. I hear it's absolutely horrible.
Well,
yeah. He also did Funhouse. We'll have to watch that sometime. I enjoyed that quite a bit.
So yeah, this was done by Tobe Hooper and stars Mark Hamill.
Yep, good old Luke Skywalker has come in to be in this horror movie. Now, what could it be about? We were given a little bit of a hint in the morgue that it had something to do with an eye.
Oh, yeah, which the coroner, John Carpenter, is out of formaldehyde, which angers him to no reason.
Of course.
But he then finds a jar of formaldehyde with an eyeball in it, which he then drinks and eats the eyeball.
Mm-hmm. As you do.
As you do when you're John Carpenter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're introduced to Mark Hamill. He's a baseball player, and he's married to Twiggy, the British supermodel from the 60s.
Yep.
Who, bless her heart, I love Twiggy as both a model and just as a personality. She's always very likable and very, like, her modeling work in the 60s was, like, pretty amazing. But she, for some reason, I don't know if this was Tobe Hooper's directing or if this was just a character choice. But Twiggy, a very, very English woman, speaks with a Southern American accent.
Well, we should say tries.
It tries, at least. And it flips-flops between sort of Southern Belle and English sort of...
Yeah, it's just it's kind of whatever she was in the mood for at the time, I believe.
Bless her heart. No, I think she's trying, bless her heart, but...
It didn't take me out of it too much, though. I mean, it came and went, but yeah, for the most part.
For some reason, it takes me a lot more out when American actors try to do English accents and fail miserably, like Natalie Portman in V for Vendetta.
No, well, you know. It sounds right to us.
They're in this. Like I said, they're married. Mark Hamill is an up and coming little leaguer,
or
about to get his big shot.
Not little league. Little league is children. This is what
minor league.
Minor league. Thank you.
Minor league.
Yeah, I was looking for that.
Yeah, minor league. He's a minor leaguer, about perhaps to break through. Has a killer season. Is driving home on a rainy night when, of course, do you remember why he crashed his car? He dropped the tape.
Yeah.
He's gonna.
Yeah, as it typically happens. Yeah, you're driving, you lose your cassette tape, and pretty much
you bend down and take your eyes off the road to fix it on like a road in the middle of nowhere with no traffic signs or traffic lights, and in the just pouring rain.
Yep.
No, just go and pick up that cassette. He crashes his car. And his eye gets impaled by a shard of glass.
Oh, yeah. Which is, in my opinion, it's a fun effect. It's pretty good.
It's a pretty fun effect, and I just liked how Mark Hamill chose to sort of portray that with, I'm in a lot of pain with just...
Well, Mark Hamill obviously known for his amazing voice acting work as well. So, because once again, not only is Twiggy, does she have a Southern accent, so does Mark Hamill. And
he does it better, we must admit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit more stereotypical, but yeah, I mean, he does a great job of it. I'm totally. It sounds like somebody from the North doing a Southern accent, but it's still good. I like that.
It's serviceable, let's say.
Exactly. It didn't take me out of the moment.
So he's a baseball player, so obviously he needs depth perception.
It would help.
So he is invited to take this experimental new treatment, which involves planting an eye from
A cadaver.
from a cadaver. And I really liked. I really liked the effect they did. So the donor eye was brown, and Mark Hamill's eyes are blue.
Yep.
And like the eye effects in the short are really good.
Oh yeah, I mean the effort they put into it, because everything is practical, nothing CGI. So the contacts that he put in to make it look that way, yeah, they looked absolutely great. Whenever it was first put in, there was a lot of irritation, so a very veiny.
Yeah, very basically just red all around the iris.
Exactly, it looked beautiful. They did a really good job.
And yeah, it looked very sort of off-putting and disturbing, and you would totally see why Twiggy wouldn't want to fuck him.
Of course. It might be a little bit.
Your eye is kind of creeping me out, man.
Yeah, but just to make things a little bit simpler on him, the doctors do give him a colored contact to make his eyes look the same. Just in case it
totally looks fake, which is a brilliant choice.
Exactly, it looks even worse than or
than
looks
the brown
worse.
eye.
Exactly, but nonetheless, so yeah,
it was a brilliant choice. It's like his eyes are always fucked up.
Exactly. So he's got a new eye. He can see out of it. Everything's wonderful. He can even go back to baseball.
Because Twiggy is also pregnant.
Oh yeah, exactly. That is a nice little surprise that he finds out about. So yeah, needless to say, everything was going horrible for like the first 2 minutes, but now he's got an eye and he can see, and he's going to have a kid, and everything's wonderful until. This is another one that you've seen before. You've seen.
Yeah, this is basically like there was that Jessica Alba movie, The Eye, which was a remake of a Japanese movie,
which was much better.
Which was obviously. Yeah. So yeah, this is basically that movie just in a condensed version. He starts seeing like visions of horrific shit.
Yep.
And sort of the eye starts to take him over.
Yep.
Because it belonged to a psycho serial killer.
Big surprise. Nobody would have guessed that. Except everybody.
Like I like how always in these body horror movies, when there's a transplant involved, the only cadavers that are available are of psycho killers.
People who were just recently been put down or have been executed. That's maybe
like
why
for being just the worst horrible people.
Yeah, fucking killers, rapists, fucking really the worst people in the world. Oh yeah, well they're organ donors, so they're not that bad.
So yeah, the eye starts to take him over, and I liked a lot of the things they did with that.
Oh yeah, because the fact that he's seeing, ultimately, once again, spoiler alert, whatever, he's seeing what the killer did with his prosthetic eye. The first time it being he wanted to get sexy with Twiggy, but she wasn't into it or whatever.
Because his eye was fucked up.
Well, you know.
You don't want to look into that.
Well, look, you get into a marriage. No, we'll get into that in a second. So he looks outside where he's currently building a pool, was it, I believe, out there?
They never sort of went into it. Just his yard was a fucking mess.
Yeah, there was sticks up.
Working in it.
Exactly. But yeah, all of a sudden you see a just horrible looking woman who has been cut and rise from the ground almost like a zombie, but comes up screaming and yelling and reaching towards Mark Hamill on his second, while he's looking out of a second story window. And yeah, I mean the effects are great.
That actually that was supposed to be his zombie wife.
Oh, that was. See, I thought that was the first
I don't know. They like don't sort of go into it, but like they had the same hair, and I don't know. They never sort of fully explained what was going on with that vision.
I believe that was like one of the first women that he killed, as far as that goes. Because although the hairstyle was similar, the woman, whenever it shows her in these like weird flashbacks, is always nude. And Twiggy is a voluptuous woman by far, but this woman that it keeps going to, who's fully nude, has incredibly large breasts.
So let's talk about the fact that the Bible plays a very big part in this story.
Somehow it does, yes. I still don't quite understand it.
I think it's only because to justify the end scene.
Probably.
Which, okay, it's a nice sort of thematic thing, but I don't know, quoting Bible verse, especially in horror and porn, quoting Bible verse is always... Come on.
It feels like lazy writing, and I think that's what it was a little bit in this. Once again, I don't have an issue with it. I thought it was fun.
I don't have an issue with it. I liked the ending, which we will get to, but I just thought it was weird just how fucking just... all American Southern people these were, and how it was just constantly being hammered home.
Yeah, it felt shoehorned in, definitely.
Mark Hamill is getting the operation, and Twiggy is reading the Bible. Mark Hamill is freaking out and calms down by reading the Bible.
Yeah.
It felt like it was trying to make some sort of point about Christianity, but didn't.
I don't know if they were really trying that. I think it was just an easy out. How's the way of getting rid of a demonic eye? Oh, yeah, read the Bible. There you go.
Oh, yeah. That was... Oh, right. That was the thing that beat the eye, sort of.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway.
Yeah, end of the movie. That's how you get rid of an evil eye. Well, that's one of the ways you get rid of an evil eye. But needless to say,
that's sort of the first step to getting rid of an evil eye.
Exactly.
The second step being much more vitriolic.
Exactly. A bit more involved. So not only is he seeing things now, which the former killer, which he has the eye transplant from, he's also acting the same way. The eye is taking over his body and making him do horrible things, so to speak.
He's like, oh yeah, I feel much better now. You know what would make me feel even better? Some fucking sex, Twiggy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get fucked.
Which, in all honesty, it would. I mean, if my eye was taking over my body and had become evil, sex might help me as well.
The doctor explicitly said, like, hey, no, like, strenuous activity, which Mark Hamill does all the time in this.
Oh, yeah, he's doing work, he's building things, he's fucking.
And he's trying to fuck.
Yeah.
Which, like, is like one of the most, like, intense things you can do with your eyes. Funnily enough.
Interesting, yeah. Not bad at all. Go ahead and set it up, because I got a bunch of stuff to talk about. The eye is sort of taking over him. We're on episode 6 now. Yep.
And we are 1 for 2 of movies including rape. Every other episode.
Well,
because they start to have sex, but Mark Hamill is getting pretty rough because he has the eye of a psycho killer, and Twiggy, she doesn't like what's happening. She wants to stop.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen. But I will give it that this is the of all the rape movies we have seen. Mm-hmm. This one was really uncomfortable to watch and was intended to be.
It's a bit. I want to get to the more disturbing thing, though. A rape is obviously a horrible thing. I do not justify anything at all, but something really bad happened during this rape.
Well, You can, sort of contextualize it because these are actors on a film.
Exactly.
This isn't actually happening. What actually happened?
Don't you dare step on it. Don't you step on it.
No, I'm setting you up, man.
We get to see Luke Skywalker's balls and ass.
Yep.
Just
Mark Hamill's ass and balls by hammering on Twiggy. She was wearing underwear, though.
She was. I had to look back because the way that it was shaded, I was like, are they actually fucking? But then I slowed it down. I zoomed in a little. I was like, okay, they're not fucking. But yeah.
But it was very convincing, and it was very uncomfortable.
It was.
Oh, God.
Honestly, I'm setting that up as a joke because I did not expect to see Mark Hamill nude in this movie of all movies. But you could probably, if you zoomed in even further, you might be able to see a little bit of Skywalker cock. But I didn't put that much time into it.
No.
But yeah,
I'm good.
I know enough about Luke now. I know what his balls look like, and I'm happy. If nothing else, this movie gets a 10 out of 10. Luke Skywalker's balls. It's all good because really nothing else happens at the rest of this short. Oh
no,
God!
And well, he is basically raping Twiggy.
Yep.
And bites her to breaking skin even.
Yep.
And so, that's sort of the moment where you realize, oh, the psycho killer has, almost all but taken over.
Yep.
And then at the end, of course, because he's a psycho killer, I do really like Mark Hamill's crazy acting in this.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely very over the top.
But still very, Mark Hamill doesn't look like a frightening guy. He's kind of short and, blonde and blue-eyed and, a
little bit poachy.
But when he goes into crazy mode, it's really disturbing.
He's got the crazy eyes for sure. That's how I imagine he looks like every time he voices the Joker in the animated series. He just kind of lights up and he gets into that mode. And he really shined with that as well. I mean, it was kind of scary when he got into full on fucking evil eyes taking me over. I'm going to murder somebody type mode. And I mean, once again, absolutely amazing all around. He did a really great job, and we saw his balls.
I mean, hey, he didn't pull any punches.
No, he could have worn like a cock
I gotta give him that. Not using a stunt butt.
Exactly, or whatchamacallit. Yeah, cheaping out. He's like, you know what? Fuck it. Here's Twiggy.
I'm in this.
I'm gonna mount Twiggy butt ass naked because why the fuck not?
That scene was just that. I think that was one of the most uncomfortable scenes. That and the zoomed in oral sex from Star Babe are now tied.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it was very aggressive.
It was just brutal.
I mean, the look on his face when it cut to him a couple times. Yeah, I mean, this guy is out of his mind.
in his killer eye vision, he was raping a corpse.
Yeah, which makes it sexier.
They like I said, they really that scene. They really went out and they sort of blew their load prematurely because it never reaches that sort of uncomfortableness again.
Yeah, I mean, at that point in time, I mean, they're just going through the numbers now. For some reason.
Okay, now he's gonna kill Twiggy, and she reads the Bible, and he has a split personality or something, and
yeah, and then there's only one way to get rid of this evil eye, and that's to stab myself in the fucking eye, but a little bit too far, I believe.
Yeah, he kills himself.
Yeah, so, and that's the end of that one.
So we cut then for the final time to John Carpenter and his lovely character. I don't know. This is I think this as an anthology host.
Oh yeah, great job.
Of my favorite anthology host, this is currently tied with Flava Flav from Night Tales.
Oh, fucking hell.
Flava Flav in Night Tales is amazing because at the end of the movie, he encourages the audience to go go back and buy another ticket for the movie and go see it again.
Fucking Flavor Flav. I'll definitely take John Carpenter over Flavor Flav.
No, it's just so audacious and lame. Like the actual anthology is shit.
Oh yeah,
but Flavor Flav himself in Night Tales is something to behold.
Yeah, I remember seeing a little bit of that. Fortunately, I've forgotten most of it.
So yeah, we cut back to the morgue for the final time, and there's a twist.
Of course, there is.
Because John Carpenter says, "Oop, somebody's coming," and just lays on a slab because he was a corpse the entire time.
Yeah, it finally pans down, shows there's this massive wound on his stomach, and yeah, he lays down. Ultimately,
which I gotta say that was a nice reveal. Like they never hinted to it, or sort of like. It wasn't like a cop out or something because it could have been there all the time. You just never noticed and you never noticed they were cutting. They were shooting around it.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it felt very good, and when it showed that, I was like, that's neat. Okay, cool. I kind of figured that at first, but nonetheless, good reveal.
And
who do we have come in?
Walks Tom Arnold.
And Toby Hooper.
And Toby Hooper. I can understand Toby Hooper. Why the hell was Tom Arnold there?
No, I can understand Tom Arnold because at that point in time of his career, he might have been a morgue worker because he wasn't doing fuck all else except fucking Roseanne Barr.
Yeah, but you're John Carpenter. You can get fucking Kurt Russell.
I'm surprised that Kurt Russell wasn't in this, especially with the time that came out.
That was like a little before Escape from L.A.
Yeah.
So he wasn't, he was still, he might have been doing Stargate.
That's a possibility. And that
was 94.
This whole thing was probably put together in a weekend. I can't imagine it took much more than a week.
And Stargate took a long ass time to film.
Oh, I'd imagine so, yeah.
I remember.
But yeah.
Go to Egypt and shit.
But those two come in. They're both morgue workers, as it says even in their credits. But Toby Hooper, for some reason, gets sickened by when they're doing the autopsy.
I think it's more he's just sickened by being in Tom Arnold's presence.
That might be it. Yeah, he's like, you know what? Why am I on here with this fucking guy?
I made fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Now I'm sitting here with Roseanne Barr's husband. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Well, I mean, while it occasionally cuts back to John Carpenter while they're looking away at certain points in time, and he makes silly faces and mouths words and shit. It's a good way.
Silly. I just got to point out that how amazing it is that John Carpenter is doing amazing work in front of the camera.
Oh, exactly. I would definitely love to see a Body Bags 2. I would love to see this happen all over again. Maybe even with some new directors. I think there's a few guys that are doing it now that are actually talented. And
I would actually want to see what would happen if you would get someone like Eli Roth.
Oh fuck, that'd be great.
But have John Carpenter producing them.
Oh, I'd be all about that.
So you have John Carpenter with a newspaper standing behind him. It's like, no, bad Eli Roth.
I'm thinking like Eli Roth, Rob Zombie, maybe even Lucky McGee, who did May. Did you watch May?
No, I haven't seen that one.
I don't think it's bad enough to have on CG, but it's definitely a very fun horror film. But yeah, those three are kind of the new bucks, even though all of them are well into their 40s. Horror, as far as modern horror, the only ones doing it.
I would just love to see John Carpenter sort of school them, or just what it would be like if he just went, just try a little subtlety, which I don't know. I know John Carpenter talking to someone about subtlety is bizarre.
Well, when you compare, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Eli Roth's stuff. I love gore porn in movies sometimes just because it can be fun. It can be fun to see how...
Oh, it can.
Yeah, if you have good people doing prosthetics, use them to the best of their ability. And trust me, he uses... whoever worked on that, I believe it might have been Nicotero, who worked on Hostel, but yeah, used him to the best of his ability in that, with prosthetics as well as some CGI stuff. So yeah, no, it would be great. I'm hoping to see more stuff like this, honestly. I mean, I have fallen out of love with modern horror because they just keep doing the same movie over and over and over again.
Yeah, the string of Platinum Dune remakes is it's beyond comical at this point. Friday the 13th remade, Nightmare on Elm Street remade, The Thing remade
again. Because The Thing was technically a remake.
The Thing was a remake. The Thing from Another World.
Yep.
But yeah, fucking Stepdad. The Stepdad was remade.
Which I'm surprised that one got remade because I didn't think it was that well received. It was a fun movie.
No.
The original one was great. But yeah, I'm just...
like I said, they just went to a video rental store somehow, got a time machine, went to a video rental store and just, okay, let's take all these movies and remake them because they're horror movies.
Yeah, and
people like horror, I guess.
It would seem that way. But yeah, no, as I said, I'm definitely looking forward to more of these. I'm going to see if I can find some other ones because I've seen some other horror anthologies that are actually lower budget than this. And
there's always Night Tales with Flava Flav.
Oh God, I'm gonna that one. I'm not gonna be able to do sober, but I'm willing to do it. I just need to get some drugs and or alcohol. So, but yeah, I guess we are actually going to finish the podcast before the movie would have ended. Yay!
I mean, it's because it's also bite sized that it's.
And it's good. I mean, I would love
good.
I would love to tear it apart if I could, but this is genuinely something quite enjoyable. If you have an opportunity, if you have any interest or love for horror movies, this is one definitely to check out. Body Bags, 1993, directed by John Carpenter, and Toby Hooper's in it. A whole bunch of fucking people are in it. Stacy Keach is the fucking man, just as much as Dennis is. So,
yep. So, like those two interacting was one of the highlights of this movie.
Exactly.
So, Travis, are you doing anything of notice?
We are recording today, going to be releasing. Check out the latest Shattered Movie podcast, where myself and Mr. Ben Spike, the spikiest of all Bens on the internet, discuss movies. We had a bunch of news this week that we went over, and I tried not to shit on too many things. Also, Terminal Fuck Up Hour, latest episode has Jim fucking Sterling on it. It's the best they can ever possibly be. They'll never get better than that.
Well, I mean, they are one LMT short, so Jim Sterling, okay replacement, still not dank as LMT.
See, that's the whole thing with LMT. Yeah, actually, don't listen to it. It's... pass on that one. LMT is not there. Sorry, Gregor, but you got to have LMT in there. Otherwise, who gives a shit, really? But yeah, that's going to be...
I'm in it for the dank.
Exactly. Why else would you be? How about yourself, sir? You've got some exciting things going on.
I have recently started, as I was saying about John Carpenter, he is a big influence on me musically, and I've recently... sort of pushed off a new project. It's called Death Turner, and it's on SoundCloud. It's synthwave music, which is basically, if you know the soundtrack for Hotline Miami or the Night Call song from the movie Drive. It's sort of that 80s vibe synth music, which I'm really excited about. I've had an overwhelmingly positive response to my first track, which is called Midnight Sunburn, is on SoundCloud. SoundCloud.com/death-turner.
Yeah, everybody, please go take a look, take a listen to that. In fact, it's really good. I was surprised. I literally thought whenever I saw that link pop up online, I thought you just posted a Perturbator song. I was like, okay, well, why is he posting this? And then I saw your name attached to it. Like, oh, holy fuck. I was like, that is really, really good. Definitely go check him out. Check out more of our antics. If you hadn't listened to the other episodes of Cinema Grotesque, what's wrong with you? We have a blast every week watching horrible, horrible movies for your entertainment. So yeah, needless to say, we go from this week from the horror anthology Body Bags to the rock and wrestling extravaganza known as Body Slam next week.
Rock and wrestling.
Rock and wrestling.
So is this a WWF thing?
It is actually not. It has a bunch of people from or that were currently in wrestling at the time.
Well, yeah. I meant like, is it sort of that camp, or is it the WCW, or?
I would say the majority of it, from the best of my knowledge, from that time period is when I was into wrestling. I'd say the majority of them were in the WWF, but I think a lot of them switched over at a time or two. So we might all have familiarity with them. It's an absolute.
I know Macho Man Randy Savage.
Ooh, yeah!
He might be in this one. I think he is actually, for a very short period of time. Snap into a Slim Jim.
Brother!
But yeah, needless to say, the next one's going to be a blast. It's an absolutely horrible / amazing 80s movie. And until then, anything else going on your side? Let's say your name one more time, Egg.
Egg. Or Death Turner, if you like.
Death Turner, that works.
I'm working on my next track. It'll be up on SoundCloud, hopefully before we record our next episode. So, like I said, just go there and create a SoundCloud thing. SoundCloud is pretty damn good. There's a lot of promising people there. So, exactly. And you can follow them, and it's basically just, and then you get the app. So it's like Spotify, but it's filled with original and new indie music. And again, you have 2 of John Carpenter's tracks on SoundCloud. So.
Exactly. And by that time, we'll have all the links to everything associated with this episode down in the bottom here on chatter.media. So make sure to check out all the links. There's a bunch of really cool shit going on. And until next time, boys and ghouls, you've been watching Cinema Grotesque.
Bye.
Bye.